This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Bruce.
Jody, happy 2021 yet again.
2021. What?
I know. Keep reminding myself that it's a new year and that it's going to be a good one.
So you're signing and dating things 2021.
Yes.
I've been doing pretty good. I do, every once in a while have to check it, but I'm doing pretty good so far. And it's not like I write checks or anything anymore. Like I don't even do it for my rent. It's an automatic payment thing too. So, but on like work forms and stuff, I have to date things, but I've been doing pretty good.
It's a lot easier now that, we wanted 2020 to be gone.
Right? It was like trying to get it out of my brain already. I'm like, 2021, come on, get here. Yeah. Yep. I've been living in 2021 in my brain, in my head.
Yes. It feels good to be in this new year and to be kind of like, for me, I don't know. I've been a little more optimistic last few weeks, feeling better. Things feel like they're looking up. I'm really working toward just focusing on being a little more positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. After our New Year's anti-resolution episode, you should go check that out. I think we're both sort of focusing on the positives, setting intentions for what we want to do for the year, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, and this week we're really talking about mental health, wellness, well-being, feeling a little better mentally, whatever you want to call it. It's just this idea that it's been a hard 10 months, and and aside from the last 10 months, it's a hard life sometimes.
Yep.
So
it's
just
a hard
thinking,
knock life.
Right, and just thinking about ways to make things better, to kind of if not get a grip on that, to hopefully manage the way that you feel, and help you look at things a little more positively, which it feels like we've got to do right now.
Yep. But before we get into all that, did you have any news stuff for today, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So one of the things that I wanted to share is that last week I had worked on this thing with the New York Times. Wirecutter is kind of their product review arm, and they cover all kinds of different things. They talk about the best, so everything, whatever it is that you're looking for, except they hadn't really gotten into clothing. And a writer from Wirecutter reached out to me and said, we are writing an article talking about the best men's white t-shirt. And what they do with these is they don't just say, hey, this is the best. They test things out. They have multiple people test things out to find the best product. And they asked me if I would be interested in helping out with that on the big and tall side. So,
well, that's pretty cool. That's good that they're like getting different perspectives on shirts, because it's like one person loves a certain shirt, another person's like, I can't stand the way that it feels or whatever, and you're like, it's just a t-shirt, calm down.
Right. So it was so it ended up being that they sent out a box of shirts to a few different people. It was me, Jesse Thorne from Put This On, an editor from Wired, and I believe somebody from New York Times Style, and we all just tried these things out, and we basically sat in front of our laptop camera, turned it on, recorded a thing where we pulled up the shirt, looked at it, did all these things to kind of get a feel for it. And then we would try on the shirts, and there was actually a form that we filled out that where we gave our impressions. And so the cool thing about this was that the way they did it, they had the tags covered with tape, so you couldn't see. So it was a blind test. You were really testing these shirts out without knowing what you were wearing, and it was really cool, and it was an interesting way to do it, and it ended up being a lot of fun. It was fun to go back and read the article. Like I said, it came out last week, and there's you can see some of my comments on some of the bigger things. There was one comment that I made that until I read the article, I didn't really realize that it could be taken as a snarky comment.
Oh, nice.
I basically said something about one of the shirts. I said, "This is a shirt that I would only wear as an undershirt. I would never wear this out on its own." Yeah, right. And so that's, but there's some good stuff in there. It's really insightful. And out of that, I'm not going to spoil it, but out of that, they were able to pick a winner for the best T-shirt. They also picked which shirts fit for different criteria. So if there was something that was,
if you're looking for something specific,
right?
Like I like what I don't know,
right. Maybe the best V-neck or something, a thicker fabric or whatever, those kind of things. But they were able to pick an overall kind of best as well. So you need to check it out.
Is it like a totally left field winner, or was it something something we've heard of, not something completely crazy?
There were a couple in there that I was not as familiar with.
Okay.
There were some that are actually brands that I've written about. We've talked about some things like that, but there were also some that were in there that I just hadn't been aware of in the past, and or if I had, they weren't brands that I really paid a lot of attention to. So it was pretty cool, and the size ranges on some of these go higher than others. So as you read the article, they go through all of that. But it was really just kind of a cool way to do that. And thank you to Wirecutter and the New York Times for letting me jump in on that. It was a very cool way to test out clothes.
So that sounds like a fun thing. I mean, and it kind of exposed you just as, like you said, some other brands that you've never heard of. So that's kind of interesting as well.
Definitely. Yeah. What about you?
I don't have a lot of news. I've been dealing with apparently some debit credit card fraud that started happening a couple of days ago on my account. So that's been kind of consuming my outside of work stuff, trying to figure out where I might have gone shopping or what site I might have gone on.
Yeah.
That it could have gotten compromised. So
oh man.
And then, dealing with all the things that are auto pay and like, I don't remember. And then I get emails or notifications. Your payment was declined. I'm like, okay, there's one. There's another one. There's a thing. So that'll be a fun 7 to 10 business days for me to get a new card. And
tracking all of that down and figuring out exactly what happened that's hard. Sometimes it's impossible.
US Bank did a great job. They notified me on the first weird transaction. And I was like, I've been at work all day. I'm not buying anything. So I was like, no. But they like automatically froze that account, which I didn't realize until I went to try and get lunch.
Yeah, right.
I was like, what do you mean I don't have any money? I was like, oh, they just shut it down, which is fine. It's good. So
right.
Other than that, that's kind of what my week's been.
Well, sounds like a lot of fun. A great way to spend your week.
Yes.
Let's see. One other thing I'll just throw out there, a shout out to an eyewear company that is making glasses for bigger heads, Alexandros Eyewear. And if you're watching the video, you'll see that I'm wearing a pair of Alexandros.
I noticed those.
Now,
speaking of, I literally just went and got my eye exam, but I couldn't find frames big enough for my head.
Yes.
I was very sad at the nameless eyeglass place in the mall.
That's always a pain. It's like so many other things. It can be hard to find frames that actually fit you well. And this
You're
brand,
those. I like those.
Thanks. Yeah. So if you're not watching the video,
shame on you for not watching.
Shame on you. If they're a round frame and they're like a yellow,
an amber
color, right. And I wanted something that really stood out because it's very easy to end up with. I have a whole lot of glasses that are black or brown or tortoise or something along those lines.
I've been really wanting to get like a colorful pair like that, but I'm like, can I pull that off? And I would put them on, and I'm like, but they're like too small for my face, so I just got kind of thrown off by that. So
right.
I need to look back at your different eyeglass things, and I need to get some new ones. So
yes, Warby Parker is always really good. They have a lot of wide frames that work. The glasses that I normally wear are Warby Parker, and they've been great. And the glasses that I had before that I sometimes still wear are from Coastal, I believe.
You'll have to send me the names of all those again.
Yeah.
I need to track some down.
Yeah, so there will be an article up on Chubster. If it's not up by the time this is airing, it'll be up in the next week or so about Alexandros Eyewear and kind of what they do, what they have to offer, and the fact that they specifically focus on people with big old noggins.
Good. So, I need some big noggin glasses.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna have some of my beer because I just barely opened it right before.
Yes.
I don't know who suggested it, if it was you or someone else, the John's Marketplace or something. That's a local place on Powell. It's like a big beer store, basically.
I think I feel like that might have been was that producer extraordinaire Enya that
I think
that
Enya might have said something about it.
Yeah.
Regardless, thank you for the recommendation. They have an insane selection over there.
Nice.
I could have spent hours there, but I just needed to get a few and get out. So this is the Great Divide Barrel Aged Series Yeti Imperial Stout aged in whiskey barrels.
Nice.
I was like, I almost spilt it.
Oh, that looks like that looks fancy.
Laptop. Yeah. It's the little taste that I had. Sorry, it was like, what is that? It says 2020 on there. It's really dark, so it's pretty amazing. I like that. I'm going to have a little bit more right now.
Nice. Yeah, it looks high end and fancy just looking at the can. So.
Yeah, it's got that it's got a high ABV. I can tell that just by the little sip. Yeti Imperial. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, 9.5 ABV.
Yeah. Well, you'll be in a good place by the end of the podcast.
Yeah, I need to maybe not drink that whole thing. But yeah, it's out of Denver, Colorado, the Great Divide Brewing Company.
Awesome.
Yeah, dark coffee, strong, rich.
Nice.
I would agree with all of those.
So it's always fun to find a new beer store and to actually go and experience that. It's a pretty big place, a lot of selection.
Yeah. It was kind of cool. They had like all like different countries, so they had like the different country flags above the area, and then they have a lot of like Pacific Northwest and Oregon regional beers kind of in the center. But the thing I really liked about it is you can just buy an individual.
Oh, nice.
You didn't need to buy, a 6-pack or whatever.
Yes.
So you can try it. It's a little bit higher price than if you were just to, go buy a 6-pack. But I like it because then it's like, if I like it, I can go back and buy the 6-pack or whatever. And yeah. And then awesome. I don't have a beer full of, wow, I've only had a little sip. A fridge full of beer that I don't like, so that's what I like about that.
Right.
Try different things.
Well, great. Nice. So I'll jump into my beer here, but I'm going to start this by saying that, friends, I like to drink beer that sometimes is not so classy. And,
okay.
It's good to kind of slum it with your beers sometimes, to go back to those real old classics and some of those beers that aren't quite as popular as what you normally see. You can go anywhere and you can find a sour, you can find a hazy IPA, whatever. Those things are in right now. It's not often that I'm coming across any breweries that are doing, especially like microbreweries that are doing, well, say a malt liquor. And today, that's what I have right here. Let's see.
Old Mill 800.
Old Mill 800. So you know that they're serious about this being a malt liquor because they spelled old with an E. So we got that going. There's also a number in here. So we got 800. So it just feels like they knew what they were going for. It smells like a malt liquor. And, if you've had enough malt liquor, the smell. I've been very excited about this all week to crack this one open. So I'm going to try it now. And we'll see where it goes.
Old Mill 800, OLD.
Oh, woo, yeah. So there's that malty funk that you get with malt liquors. There's also a lot of hoppiness, which is actually fairly surprising. It's taking me a moment to recover after that first drink there. So it says that it's a high-gravity lager made with the highest quality Pilsner malt and corn fermented under pressure. With the bold color of a gold grill and citrusy light malty undertones, a crisp, dry finish is the perfect ending to the 16-ounce experience. It's from Silver Moon Brewing. Yeah, it's Bend, Oregon, which I've been on a Bend, Oregon beer kick for the last few weeks. So
I noticed.
So here we go. I am sort of related. I was looking at Untapped and looking at my map of where I've enjoyed beers, and I have not had any beers from South Dakota. So going to try and track down a South Dakota beer and break that in. But this is intense. It's
got a lot of those kind of ratings. Somebody said not my style, but tasty for what it is.
Yeah, right.
Just something different.
That's the thing, is that it's really easy to get stuck just drinking the same kind of beer all the time. And don't get me wrong, I like the IPAs, I like sours, whatever. But there's a lot of that stuff out there.
Yeah, that's when I went to that whatever bottle shop, there was a lot of IPAs, and I was like, okay, I want something else.
Right.
I like that, but I wanted to just get something else. So
yeah, this year it's a good year to be more adventurous with the beer. I want to try beer from places that I've never had it before, like regions, locations that I've never had it before, and I'd like to try some things that are more out of the ordinary. It feels like
more. What was that? Beard yeast.
Yes.
Beer or whatever.
Yes, beer.
Something weird.
Beer. Exactly.
Beer. Yeah. That's what I want.
We'll have to do a special episode where we try some of those hot beers, like the ones made with peppers and things like that. It maybe not a whole episode, because
I like some of those. I remember. Well, I had one a few. I don't remember which episode. I'd have to go back. There was one that had some, I don't know, habaneros or something like that, and it was just enough to kind of. It wasn't like hot, but just enough to give you a little kick.
I had one that was like a murder beer that had something really something hot in it. I don't even, but it was horrible. It was so bad, so hot. But I digress. This is all right. I enjoy this. It takes me back to my early 20s.
Early 20 beer. And that was a malt liquor.
Malt liquor. Yep.
7.6 ABV.
Oldie Mill.
Oldie Mill.
There we go.
All right. So on to, I think I'm going to kind of more talk about things that I do personally to kind of, I've suffered from depression in the past, and I kind of can notice some of the signs when I'm, maybe sinking down a little bit. So there's different things that I like to do to kind of get me out of that and get me, back into the traffic lane of life, So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about. Just different techniques that I do, things that I do to keep my spirits up. And if I'm having a bad day or a down day, I allow myself to have those, but then I have to kind of come back and get back to it.
Yeah, like everyone, last year was really hard for me, and definitely it hit me pretty hard, especially toward the end of the year, around the end of summer, going into fall and winter. I just I don't know. I was just really depressed, stuck inside, had family illnesses to deal with, and a whole bunch of things that just kind of, compounded. And it definitely, it took me down, and I think finding ways to come back from that is important. And I think the first thing that I would say is, don't be afraid to talk to people about it. Don't be afraid to ask for help, or just share how you're feeling, because I think that's really big and really important. And it's something that it's sometimes easier said than done. I know for me, it's something that I kind of suffered with for a while before I really started to try to address it. Because it's easy to get in your head and just be like, and just not think that, there's any way you can fix it. So,
and even if you don't even necessarily need to ask for help, you can just reach out and talk to friends or people. Yeah. Just those interactions, because, we're social beings for the most part, and we want to interact with each other and hang out with each other. So that is a little bit more difficult now. So actually calling people on the phone or having video chats or FaceTiming or whatever definitely has helped, lift my spirits. Like calling up an old friend and chatting, even if it's just, I'm on my way to work, or they're on their way or running, whatever it is, for even just for a couple of minutes, that reconnection with a good friend or family member or whatever has done wonders for me when I've had, down days or bad days, just to, remind myself the things that I enjoy and the people that I enjoy, and reconnect with those people.
Yeah, that's that's a big part of it, is that for the last year we've been spending so much time alone, basically, or stuck at home, or with your partners or your loved ones or whatever, and that's great. But after a certain amount of time, it can weigh on you, and all of that, everything going on in the world, it just adds up. And being able to connect with people and talk to people about that, and trying to find new and different ways to connect and realize that you're not alone. You're not on this adventure alone is really important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and one of the other big ways that I've recently rediscovered is listening to music that I really enjoy. So like a lot of times I'd listen to like the news on my drive in, and sometimes that can not start my day off the greatest, because hearing about whatever's going on in the world, it just kind of brings me back down.
Sure.
So I've been, instead of doing that, I've been hooking up, pairing my phone with the car, and just listening to some old jams, whatever it might be, whatever kind of uplifting music, or music that kind of, I like to listen to something a little bit more upbeat and kind of dancey or something, just to kind of get my day pumped up and get it amped up a little bit. And that's, I've noticed I've really been able to, it helps me start my day on a little bit more positive note, not listening to whatever's going on in the outside world.
Sure.
Right. First thing in the morning, so listening to, I don't know, anything from Ariana Grande to, I don't know, anything really. I just, a lot of times, sometimes I've even just done like dance mix, where it's not even really like songs that I know. It's just like fun dance music kind of stuff to really pump me up.
Yeah. It's the same for me. Music definitely affects my mood, and being able to go back and kind of listen to, I've got 50 Chubster playlists that are up on Spotify and Apple Music. That's fun. It's just good to be able to listen to music. I love finding new stuff. I love just kind of throwing something on and just letting it go, and discovering songs that I haven't heard before, or going back to albums that I really love. Taking that time and doing that is important, and just finding a place where you can sit down and either you can throw on your speakers and crank it up. For me, I like to listen to my music loud, and I normally can't do that when everybody else is at home, because most of the rest of the house does not like to listen to their music as loud as I do.
Yeah.
Or they don't like the kind of music that I listen to necessarily.
Whatever it may be.
So when everybody's out of the house, I'm cranking it up and listening, or I'll throw on my headphones and do it that way. But man, it makes such a huge difference, because it just, music just gets to the core of you.
It speaks to your soul. If it's something that you really enjoy, it, like, you kind of feel it, whatever, even if it's like just the bass you feel thumping on you, or like the words speak to you, or the melody or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I've noticed that really can start my day off, and I'm in the car, so I can jam it as much as I, have it as loud and sing and bop around a little bit.
Yes.
At the stoplights and people are looking at me, but I don't care, because it's a good song.
Absolutely. So another thing that you should consider, that I think when it comes to depression and mental health, there's a lot of stigma around it, and a lot of it's easy to feel like you're weaker because you are dealing with these things. I think society and culture it's certainly changing in today, but for a long time it's been one of those things where you're just supposed to suck it up and power through.
So, especially guys, I think there's a lot of
guys.
We don't have feelings. We just don't cry. You're a man, you don't cry. All that weird stereotype stuff.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I think it's I think that's something that we've had to deal with for a long time, and none of that is true. And you should not be afraid to talk to a doctor if you feel like you need to. If you need to talk to someone about ways to get help, I think it's really important that you do that. Don't feel afraid to do that. Don't feel like there's a stigma. I think that one of the big things with depression is the hole that it kind of flings you into, and how it divides you from people. It takes you away from everyone, and it does make you feel like you're alone. And I think I'll probably continue to come back to that as we talk about this, but that's a big thing, is that it really just makes you feel apart from everybody. So pushing against that is really important. And talking to a doctor and having them help you out, whether it's with medication or whatever, I mean, there's no shame in that at all. So you've got to do what's best for you, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I been treated for depression. I was in therapy for quite a long time. I was on a number of different antidepressants and all that kind of stuff to help me work through some things. And now I kind of, like I said, see some of the triggers or warning signs when I might be kind of going down that path, and I just can identify that with a lot of training and missteps and not realizing it at first. And yeah, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to tell you that this is what you should do. These are things that I've been doing that definitely help me. Definitely see a trained professional, a doctor or whatever. If there are lots of different hotlines that you can call, maybe we'll include some of those hotlines and resources in the show notes for you all as well. I think that'll be important, because I know it's been a rough year for everyone, and it's good to reach out and talk to someone, whether even maybe it's easier to do it with someone you don't know, just to kind of get it off your chest and get it out there and actually kind of, I don't know, just whatever it is that you need to talk about, or
just to get it out there. And if going to someone and talking to them isn't the route for you, there are services like BetterHelp that are online that allow you to do online counseling, where you can talk about just about anything. I mean, you're hearing about them everywhere right now, so it's something that could be worthwhile, especially as we're still dealing with this pandemic and getting through that. Getting out and going to a place may not feel safe, may not be possible. So it's another option for you that you can kind of take a look at. So
one of the other techniques that I've realized is I need to get more daylight, especially in the winter months. I get seasonal affective disorder. I notice that quite a bit. I try to take supplements like vitamin D and whatnot, but I still, even just like fake, like plant lights. I've used plant lights because they give you a different spectrum of light, because you are getting less daylight during the winter time, especially like in Pacific Northwest. It's rainy quite a bit. The other day it was really nice and sunny, and I was like, all right, Bucket, let's go. We're going for a walk. It was a little chilly, but it wasn't bad. And just getting out there and going for the walk is really good, but getting some more daylight or more light therapy has always really helped me, I've noticed.
Yeah, that is one of those big things, especially here, like you said, in the Pacific Northwest, where getting those daylight lamps can be really helpful. I worked at a startup a few years back that had those lamps in certain areas, where so people could be doing their work and they could have them shining on. I mean, super fancy and everything. I had never actually seen one in real life until I was there, but I know a lot of people swear by them. They really work well for them.
Well, I think it's partially the vitamin D deficiency, and just the it always seems like it's nighttime, and like I just want to go take a nap, and I'm going to go, whatever. But getting some, when it is sunny out, trying to go out for a little walk, or even if you're just sitting out there in the sunshine, just grab a chair and go sit out there. And it does wonders for me. I know that.
Absolutely.
With my ginger skin, I need that sunlight.
You got to get it. Right.
Got to get some of it.
Yeah. So along those lines, I'm finding that being active helps me. It's just something that kind of that gets me going. I don't know. It just helps me. I feel better. I feel clearer, and that's something that I had really not been doing for a while, especially, working from home, plus being stuck at home. Something that getting up and moving around was not something I was doing a ton of. And you add on the fact that it's cold or it's rainy or whatever, and it's, it makes it even more difficult. So finding ways to do that. And like I've talked about in the past few weeks, Apple Fitness Plus, doing that, being able to do some things with that, or,
how's that going?
It's good. It's fun. I really enjoy it, and I'm just kind of doing it at my pace. And that's the thing about it, is that it's been a long time process for me to kind of get past the idea that being, I guess, the stigma in my head of what I thought being active meant, that you had to be a certain way to be active, or that it had to be a certain thing. And getting past that and just doing it at my own pace in a way that feels good to me has made a huge change, and it's something that I'm really trying to stick with moving forward.
Yeah, and it's absolutely something that you can do at home. Whatever little bit that you can do. I got some kind of exercise band thing, and they have little videos that I can watch, and they have a person that's obviously much more fit than I am, and that's fine.
Sure.
But I do some of it. I don't do quite as much as they are doing, but I'm doing getting the technique at least, and doing the repetitions, but not as many or as whatever.
Right.
And that's fine. I can just do it right here in this room or whatever. And it's got these weird things that you can like hook under the door to like get different, I don't know the moves, but or the names.
Works different muscles.
Yeah, it works different muscles and all that kind of stuff. And it, I was kind of sore for the first few days, but it's been good to get a little bit more activity going on. Like you said, it makes me feel a little clearer, knocks some of the cobwebs out of my brain, and it's also helped some of the sleeping.
Right.
So it's been good.
And just doing it at your own pace is the big thing. There is no rule about how you have to do it, how much, if you're lifting weights, you have to hit a certain weight or do a certain amount of reps.
The pressure of other people watching you or whatever, doing it wrong or anything like that. But
totally. Yeah. I think that regardless of your size, you should be able to enjoy that stuff if you want to enjoy it. So
what else? There's another thing I haven't done as much as I want to, is declutter. So nice. Like, I'm not going to show you my desk, but it's really cluttered, like with papers and things. And I've noticed that when I get it all cleaned up, I just feel better.
Right.
It's not like, oh my God, I have all these things that I haven't done that I need to do. Oh my God, I'm never going to get it done. And then it's like a spiral for me of, well, I'm never going to get it done, so I'm not even going to start it. I'm not even going to look at it. But then it's just this big pile. So if some of it's probably just stuff I can throw away. They're just scribble notes, from when we're talking on here. They're just notes and stuff about things that I don't want to forget about. But it's like, it looks like a list of things that I need to do, or just getting it tidied up, even around the house, picking up the laundry or the dog toys or the kids' toys or whatever it is. And in the kitchen, putting the dishes away or putting them in the dishwasher, all that stuff, really, it just kind of, then you can kind of breathe and like, okay.
It makes a big difference, and you don't necessarily realize that until it's done, and you've got like a clean house, and that can be difficult when you're fighting depression.
Yeah, it stacks up, and then it just gets like,
and then it feels like too much.
Yeah.
So working through that,
keeping on it, and like doing a little bit every day instead of. So when I get home, I can't sit down and watch TV until I've cleaned something.
Right.
So that's my flourish for 2021 is to also I need to make sure my environment is, what is it? Encouraging or whatever it is. I can't remember. I got to write it down, but I have to have a good environment to flourish in.
Makes sense.
It needs to be clean and tidy for me. So
I like that. The last thing on my list is one that I just personally have been trying to work on, and it's not, obviously I'm not a medical professional, but it's for me, this is something that I've been doing that I kind of stopped doing for a little while, is just thinking positively, not just about the world or the things that I'm doing, but about myself. Thinking positively about my life, about my work, about outcomes of things that have not happened yet, because I am definitely, I'll say that I'm a strategic thinker, and that I tend to try to think about every outcome of a thing that could happen.
Wow.
And and that it's good and bad. It's good and bad, because it's easy to get stuck on the negative outcome of something as opposed to just doing a thing. And so that gets me kind of stopped up. Is there's something coming up that I need to do, or that I'm going to work on, or whatever. It's easy to push it off and just be like, I don't know if I'm going to do that because I don't want this outcome. And it usually ends up that the worst case outcome that I'm thinking of is not what happens.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of getting past that in my head. And there's a lot of just like positive thinking about myself, and, about, realizing that you're a good person, and that there are good things about you, and that you're worthwhile, and things like that. I think depression knocks those things away from you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I have those voices in my head that tell me, I'm not good enough, I'm whatever, I'm not worthy, all that kind of stuff. So I have done this in the past where I try to either write down 3 things that went well for the day, or 3 things that went well yesterday, or whatever, trying to just focus on the good things. And it's just 2 or 3 things that went well for the day, or that went well yesterday. So you can kind of remind yourself that there are good things that are happening to you, happening in your life, in your world, all that kind of stuff is very beneficial. So you can, and if you are either writing it down, I think is a helpful thing for me anyways. And then you're training your brain to look for those things, to look for the positive things, or the things that went well, instead of focusing on whatever might be going wrong, or not what you planned, or thinking about the worst case scenario of whatever it might be. So that is something that has worked for me in the past, and I would like to try and get back to that in some form.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's good. That's all I've got. I think those are some good places to start and some things to look at. And hopefully, if you're listening to this and you're kind of in that funky state that we've all been in, hopefully these things help you. If you have suggestions, let us know. We want to know what's working for you. Other things that you would want to share with people that you find beneficial. I mean, it's great to share, crowdsource those kind of things.
Yes, definitely send us what's working for you. What do you do to get yourself out of a funk, or what do you do when you might be struggling on a day or whatever? Yes, hit us up on social media at Heavy Convo. Send us a message, comment, do something, and even share this episode with some friends.
Right.
Help spread some positivity. Give some people some ideas on how to get through 2021.
Yes. We're going to do this. We're going to do it together. It's going to be good.
We're all in it together.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks, Bruce.
All right, Jody. Thank
Appreciate
you.
And I love those glasses.
Thank you. Yeah, I like them too.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.